Hi everyone! Today I want to make a more, let's say, general or big picture video that is related to my mission and what I really believe in, and the reason why personality types have been one of the topics that I've been really passionate about for a long period of time. And namely, I want to talk to you more in depth about self-awareness from the perspective of how it can actually help us build the life that we want. So all about that in the next few minutes. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's dive in. So I know that in the past I've made some other videos about self-awareness and the fact that I believe it is a key aspect to have in our lives. But today I also thought I would share with you a perspective that I've kind of structured in the form of a pyramid. And this pyramid explains how self-awareness is not just a buzzword, it's not just a nice to have, but actually a fundamental skill and aspect that can help us build the life that we want and the life that really brings us fulfillment and meaning in what we do. So if we think about having a pyramid with 5 different layers, on the very bottom we have this idea of low self-awareness, not really knowing who we are, not really knowing what we believe in, not really knowing what our long-term vision is or what we value in life, what we like and what we dislike, what's important for us, what are non-negotiable things that we want to have in our careers or in our personal lives or in any other aspect of life. And also not really being clear on what our main red thread is over the course of our life. Again, it's not like it is possible to know every single thing about ourselves at a given moment in time, because self-awareness is a lifelong journey. But when the level of self-awareness is low, when we don't invest in understanding who we are, whether we do it via personality types or typology, whether we do it via going to therapy and looking into our past, into our trauma, into our childhood experiences, whether we do it through coaching and learning about the way that we think, the way that we make decisions, the limiting beliefs that we have, or the values that we have, or whether we do it through other different strategies. If we don't engage in any of these processes, and if we don't connect with who we really are, then it is more likely that other people's opinions will influence the decisions that we make or the choices that we make in our lives. Because if I'm not connected to myself and who I am and what I value, I'm more likely to choose to place more importance on what somebody else tells me I should do. Maybe my family or my friends or my social media network or other people in my community. And again, I'm not saying that we should be black and white, as in I only listen to myself or I only listen to other people. Of course, people who love us, people who maybe know more about certain subjects than we do, can also give us valuable advice or valuable perspectives or pieces of information that maybe we're missing out on. So I'm not saying we should disregard other people, but what I am saying is that the lower the level of self-awareness that we have, the more likely we are to give too much weight and too much importance on everybody else's opinions on how we should live our lives, which means that we might choose a career path that we don't really resonate with, that doesn't really play on our strengths, doesn't really connect us with what we really enjoy and what we find meaning in. Maybe it will make us, get married because our societies say that we should get married at a certain age and with a certain type of person. We know that there's a lot of pressure, and I know it also depends on your cultures, but there is a lot of pressure when it comes to getting married until a certain age or having children until a certain age and kind of following a certain sequence of steps in our lives because society says so or our family says so. And in certain cultures, it's easier to kind of separate ourselves from this pressure. In other cultures, it's even more difficult to do so, but nonetheless, there is an influence of that. And then if we go at a even, let's say, larger extent, we can think about social media, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, people constantly giving us advice on how we should do things, what kind of behaviors and hobbies we should have in order to be successful, to make money, to have this and that in our relationships. So this lower level of self-awareness leads to a tendency to trust too much that what other people tell us, especially strangers, is something that we should definitely implement in our lives, and we should definitely make those choices. What happens after this is that we start feeling like we are hustling outside of our story. And this is something that really inspired me a few years ago when I felt that way myself. I was reading Brené Brown's books. She's an amazing sociologist and researcher as well. I really recommend that you check out her content, her documentary on Netflix, and also the books that she's written. They are really amazing. And she once shared this idea that, you either walk inside your story and own it, or you stay out of your story and hustle for your worthiness. And it really moved something in me, because I realized that I was kind of sitting outside of the life that I wanted to have, career-wise and also personal relationship-wise. And I was annoyed and I was frustrated that I don't have this and I don't like that, and etc., etc. But I was not really making any changes. I wasn't really making any difficult decisions that would be more likely to bring me closer to what I really wanted in life. So I really think that the more we listen to other people's opinions and let them override our perspective, the more likely we are to get this feeling that we are not owning our story, we are not living our story, we are somewhere on the outside hustling for our worthiness. Which of course in time leads to a tendency to feel as if we are stuck, we are confused, we don't know what we want to do next, we don't know what path we should take in life, what career to pursue, what relationship to have, or where to move, or I don't know, what kind of hobbies to engage in, and so on and so forth. And when that is the case, the feeling of being stuck and confused is pretty unlikely to bring us meaning and fulfillment in our lives, to feel like we do something with our lives that is actually connected to what's important to us and how we want our life to look like. That's why I think this pyramid can help simplify the idea that self-awareness is not a buzzword, it's not a must, it's not a nice to have, it's a must. It's something that really changes things. For me, one of the biggest, let's say, chunks of my life or experiences in my life that brought a deeper level of self-awareness was training in psychodrama. Psychodrama is a form of psychotherapy where you get to act and experiment in an artistic context sometimes, or in a kind of a role play activity, and then you get to reflect on the things that you felt, the things that you thought, the things that were happening inside of you while you were doing certain things. So it helps you connect things that you do, actions, behaviors, with the internal component as well. And for me, investing in my self-awareness via the 3-year-long training that I did was really one of the most important decisions that I've ever done in my life that changed me for the better. It changed my ability to make decisions. It changed my ability to understand what I really wanted, both personally and professionally. And of course, sprinkling that with other types of tools like MBTI and Enneagram, or other personality systems, like understanding the concepts of long-term vision and core values, and not just intuitively feeling them, which I was already, but also being able to label and understand them and express them. Going to therapy and constantly investing in that, also going to coaching and constantly investing in that, are the tools that I also use in my day-to-day life to keep deepening my level of self-awareness. Because as one of my mentors once told me, when you start the process of self-awareness, you can never stop anymore, because you realize how much more there is to see. So I wanted to make this video to share a little bit about my vision behind all the typology related stuff, behind all the technicalities related to the theories, and maybe even inspire a little more self-awareness, because I think that if more people were to invest in their self-awareness, more positive things would happen in the world. More meaningful relationships, more meaningful choices in our careers, and consequently better results and better performance in what we do, less frustration, less destructive conflict. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for being with me once again. Hope you have a lovely rest of your week, and see you next time with another video on typology.